Welcome to A Simple Word, with a brief reflection on the scripture readings for this coming Sunday. I'm Father Earl Meyer in Victoria, Kansas. In this Sunday's Gospel, Christ asked his disciples who people said that he was. Well, some said Elijah, or John the Baptist, or Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. And finally, Peter's confession of faith, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Now notice that the apostles told Christ what his admirers thought of him. They did not tell Christ what his enemies said. That can be even more enlightening. When Al Smith was campaigning to be President of the United States, he often echoed the praises of many of his followers. But his advisors told him, "We know what your friends are saying about you. We need to know what your enemies are saying." With his characteristic wit, Al Smith replied, "Ask my in-laws." Now, Christ did not have trouble with his in-laws, but he did have enemies. He had some bitter enemies who sought his life. Perhaps the most famous of those was Judas, his betrayer. After his treacherous act, Judas in remorse said, "I have betrayed innocent blood." Pilate, who condemned Christ to die on the cross, said, "I find nothing against this man." His unrelenting opponents were the Pharisees. They were always on his case. But the Pharisees did say this, "We know that you are a truthful man and teach the ways of God without courting human favor." The Samaritan woman at Jacob's well at first rejected Christ because he was a despised Jew. But later, after her conversation with Christ, she went and told the people, "I have found the Messiah." For a Samaritan, to say that a Jew was the promised Messiah at that time was unthinkable. Another testimony, surprising testimony, was from the centurion who crucified Christ, his executioner. After Christ died on the cross, the centurion said, "Truly, this man was the Son of God." And finally, there is testimony from his ultimate opponent, Satan, evil itself. When Christ cast out Satan's demons, they said, "Leave us alone, Son of David. We know who you are. You are the Holy One of God." Now notice that while the enemies of Christ always disagreed with him, they never challenged his integrity. And that is implicitly admitting that he must have been who he said he was, the promised Messiah, the divine Son of God. Today, the enemies of Christianity, in their efforts to suppress it, again unwittingly verify its truth. For example, their often violent opposition to our respect for human life, their vandalism of our churches, and in some countries, martyrdom. All of these unwittingly testify that the church is a voice for good that angers a troubled conscience. Yes, there are good things about our modern secular world, and they should not be divided. But when they deny the faithful a voice in public discourse, they are revealing a fear of the gospel. Now, our enemies do have valid criticism, not of Christianity, but of we Christians. They can rightly remind us that we are not living the gospel ideals. And they can offer an objective criticism that is often lacking in our own community. Because a critical enemy can be more truthful than a flattering friend. The enemies of Christ, they told us unwittingly the truth about who Christ was. When our enemies today tell us the truth about who we are, it is often an unpleasant truth. Yet, in so reminding us of our failures, our enemies become our friends. So listen to your enemies. They can help you to know who you really are, which is the first step in becoming a better person. May the Lord bless you with peace.